withdrawal fee of 1% on all withdrawal currencies and stuff like that. You guys know about their terms and services. I don't really know if we care about the affiliate program crap right here. What is this? Let's read it. Let's look at it just in case we do. Minarch is the parent company of a bunch of these green fund finance. So they've got a finance company here, guys. We're gonna look up this. This is what we want to know, right? Do you guys want to know what they do with the money? You guys want to know, right? Okay, let's look it up. I think we need to. I don't know about this. Green Fund Finance, guys. Ooh. Okay, so my thing is a safety thing, and it won't let me go there because it likes to protect me. So let's look at this. Green Fund Finance. Let's click that one, see if it's going to freak out. What is this crap? They might own some stuff, you guys. Let's see if this game owns some actual stuff. So let's go back to the report. Let's look into this. Okay. So Entropia Universe AB, Entropia Universe or Planet Calypso AB, and Green Fund Finances of Sweden are all owned by Mindark. So outside of the video game, we've got some kind of green fund finance thing. We'll find out that's making us some money. Any of you guys, I'm not invested in that way. So their EBITDA, oh, see, message from the CEO. Everybody calls it a different thing. There's a technical thing you're supposed to call it, but nobody does. It's always message from the CEO or my forward thinking or some other bullcrap. The strong finish. Wait. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like the finishes in like some country. The strong finish that Mindark had during the last quarter of 2022 has continued into quarter one of 2023. 23. The first quarter of 2023 is the best quarter one in Mindark's 20-year history in terms of revenue. Marking, oh, I lost my place. Marking the third consecutive year of record revenues for quarter one revenue. Revenue increased by 21.9 million Seek. I'm gonna have to actually switch over to Seek. 21.9 Seek. Oh, we're at it. 21.9. Let's find out what that is. 21.9. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. Boom. Boom. Wait, crap. I'm accidentally hitting wrong buttons. 21.9. So their revenue increased by $2 million. Okay. Where are we at? 2 million. In the first quarter of 2022 to $26.5 million. Okay, yeah, we already got that. You went up. Anything important here? While the strong dollar exchange rate partially contributed to the increased revenue, I don't know about that. I don't do the money market, guys. So that's good. So it was favorable dollar exchange to the company this year. That you can't depend on. The main factor is the user activity in Entropia Universe, which has grown by 15%. So a 15% increase in user activity is actually a big deal, guys. Okay, it is pleasing to see that the content, planned events, and experiences released to our users have been appreciated, and that the plan is continuing on the same track throughout the year.
I forgot
Okay.
to pull up
So I don't want to
chat.
read the whole thing because honestly it's going to get exhausting to read a whole freaking report. But I think you guys get that. Let's see where his forward thoughts are. This is a reflection back. First quarter. Uh, we have dedicated the production phase to the foundation created by workflows, developing tools, and design technicians or technical systems. This is all jargon speak. I don't even think this actually does this
Okay.
actually say anything. They're going to improve the mechanics of the game. This is the CEO, guys. I don't know if Henrik plays, guys. Do you guys know? Yeah, I don't know if Henrik plays, he should message me in game. I'm just curious if Henrik plays. You guys would like to know. Really? Where's his forward thoughts? Okay, this is his forward thought. This is a weak forward thought, guys. After a solid first quarter, the work now continues to deliver value to our shareholders and our users and deliver for the positive trend in revenue and results to progress through the rest of the year. So a lot of CEOs will blow crap tons of smoke up your butt in those. Like it's like a 2-page, like all the kind of stuff, their aspirations, like blah blah blah. This is at least short and concise, so I'm not going to talk crap. Let's look at the actual financials, right? So I'm going to let you know this is a little bit different than a financial statement in America. Capitalized work is a term I don't know right off the bat. I'm gonna Google this for us. I've never used this term. You guys okay with that? I hope he does play. Okay. Oh, okay. They just call it a different thing. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I love Europe. It's fascinating. I'd have to retake accounting classes if I freaking went to Europe. Not really, probably. Most of this is looking normal. Okay, here's your assets, Entropia universe. So we're going to go to the balance sheet. Income statement right here, guys. Let's find out what they made. So they had operating profits. We already knew they were going to have operating profits and stuff like that. I didn't look at what terms these are in. They're usually in like 1,000s or some crap like that, which is probably what this is in, or 10,000s. If it was a large cap, wouldn't it be in? Who knows? Let's find it. It'll say somewhere on here. Oh, K-SEC, which is probably in thousands of SEC or some crap. When something's in somebody else's money, it kind of throws me off a little bit, you guys. I mean, it's not way big. Like, a lot of it's the same, but not all the way. Okay, so let's look at what they're doing. I want to find out about that one company that they have. You guys kind of curious about this? This shows them being profitable. This profit after financial items, that's a term I've not seen. Like we don't use that term, but that's your profit after liabilities and expenses. So this is probably like EBITDA, right? Because here's your taxes coming in. Net profit before taxes. No, this is not EBITDA. Guys, not the same. Not the same at all. Total tangible assets. I don't have a calculator out. We'd have to be checking how much these things changed year over year. And that's really the reality of it. We increased in our overall assets. Let's look at this. But we've dropped in our current assets. So what happened here? So they sold stock, because here's stock in trade, etc., right? Tangible asset or intangible assets. I don't know video game companies, you guys, that well. Can I tell you that I'm not really sure what all you consider a intangible asset inside of a video game company? Because a lot of it seems like it would be intangible, right? Don't you guys feel? But their intangible assets actually increased by a substantial amount, and so they also, oh, here, their tangible assets are equipment, computer stuff, guys. So they bought more computer stuff. Shares and subsidiaries. They didn't buy any more shares in their subsidiary companies. Did they make money off of their actual investments? You guys, this is fascinating. So I took a bunch of accounting because I have a administrative degree and stuff like that. It's just been years, and in all honesty, it's been years since I've had to review anything other than like the financial, like basic, like, hey, here's this report, would you look at it? And I kind of have gotten spoiled. I didn't realize how spoiled I've gotten on it. Like, legitimately, I thought I'd just be like, jump right back in and like, be like, boom. And now I'm like looking at this and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to be reviewing basics because I've been being spoiled by basically an executive report on crap. And that's not actually, I mean, like, I understand what's going on here, but my ability to explain or to make profound decisions and choices based on what I'm looking at has super diminished, and it bothers me a little bit. I like literally have a pretty good amount of financial classes in my background in accounting, and outside of knowing what I'm looking at, yeah, I used to be able to look at one of these reports and actually know what the crap was going on. And I can tell you basically what's going on to a point. I can tell you what's changing and stuff like that. I can tell you that it looks like they're profitable. This doesn't look like super as impressive as I would want it to look, but I have never ever looked at a video game company before. And so, like, this is fascinating. It has way less stuff going on though. So they don't have a lot of stock activity though. See, the shares premium reserved. So a lot of their stuff isn't really changing. They're profitable, you guys. That's what I'm going to tell you. And outside of they're profitable and it doesn't look like they're going to go out of business anytime soon, um, I don't want to make assumptions. We could look, let's go to they should have a final sheet somewhere down here. Reporting period, blah, blah, blah. Shares and shareholders. I don't know any of these people. I mean, I don't know who this is. Let's look over what all we have. Okay. This is a pretty short report. Okay, so let's look at the operations during January, March 2023. Parent company and group. The net sales were amount of 26.5 million SEK. We already looked that up. 26 point something. Let's go like this. Boom, boom. Oh, 26.5. So $2,446,000 happened in just January to March of 2023. So this period. Activation of development costs in the first quarter, and I think the development costs might be something to do with that whole what is that? Guys, what's the new platform we're going to? Do you know what I'm talking about? They made a bunch of money basically. But I believe that this expenses, some of their expenses are going to that Unreal Engine. Yeah, thank you so much, Chill Vibe. I'm so glad you remembered. So operating expenses are 30.2 million SEK or SEK. The increased cost in quarter one of 2023 versus quarter one last year are largely due to increased staff costs and to increased costs for external consultants. Oh, so I'm wrong. My bad. They took on more staff and they have external consultants. Oh, and the Unreal 5 is in here. The number of employees and consultants has increased due to the focus on new development with the transition to Unreal 5. Operating profits after depreciation for the quarter amounts to 4.2 million SEK or 4. Wait, I don't know. Oh, I don't know why it would be two different numbers, but whatever. It's one of these. It's either 4.2 or 4.7. I'm not sure why one's one. Maybe one's the amended. Financial items amounted to zero point 0.3 million SEK or negative 1.8 million SEK. I don't know what financial items they're talking about because we didn't really look over that section that well. Earnings per share, this is what's going to be important, right? So if they're making money per share, they're making money. So we're going to get Unreal Engine. That's what that looks like. MindArc's profits after taxes for the period amounted to 3.6 million SEK. When divided by 31.5 million shares, the number of shares after reverse split. I didn't know they did a reverse split, guys. They did a reverse split. I don't own shares in this, guys. So this is neutral as crap. Hey Zuck, how you doing? Earnings per share amounted to zero point 0.11 SEK per share or zero point 0.8, you know what I'm going to say, I don't know what's up, per share divided by the same number of a share. So maybe this is the reverse, I don't know why they're amended or something. Do you guys think that they have any information on that other company that they own? Because they didn't seem to drop some info on that, right? Let's get back to that in a second. But their video game does make money. That's what we do know. Like, honestly, I'll review accounting. I'll show you guys something that's not even funny. Check this out. Okay. So you guys, when I say like accounting crap, so this is my accounting book from when I was like having to take accounting classes. A lot of crap in here. It's boring. This is just like how to look at that stupid crap. I'm going to tell you, I didn't review this before the stream. I haven't actually reviewed accounting for a little bit because honestly, all the financials I look at are the same companies um again and again. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't usually have to look at a brand new company in some capacity. I can tell you they didn't pay off any of their liabilities here, and they didn't diminish liabilities here. In fact, that's what I can tell you. So they're not paying off stuff, guys. They are making money. It looks like they're spending money. It looks like the money they're spending is specifically to get online that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It looks like they have currency exposure. We already knew that because they bragged about that it was in their favor earlier in their thing, which is a reasonable thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of looking over this. They have a total of 62 employees, including 11 women. We needed to know that in case you guys were wanting to know. Yeah, they're spending get money. The money's going to game development. That's what it says. Let's go. We can go. That'll be a section. Research and development, guys. Let's look at this. I gotta remember which department, which section of this it is. Operating costs. So here's their income. Here's their operating expenses. Here's their, so their personnel costs, right, went up from 11. Let's double check this. Yeah. To 13 something. Trying to see if they have a R&D. So this isn't broke down in subsections. And I'm trying to think, do you guys remember? I've thought our research and development should be in this. Should be in operating expenses. Profits. Where's the expenses? This is such a different company, you guys. Oh, yeah! We could do that. Okay, let's look at this, guys. And in all honesty, I'm going to have this linked just so you guys know. Watch this. That way we all know. Okay, so let's look at this. Total equity went up a little bit. I'm going to tell you, not a lot changed in this company. Okay. Short-term investments. I don't know what their short-term investments. They have increased in cash that they took on from short-term investments. Nothing changed in accounts receivable really at all. They have slightly less. Look at that. That's marginal. Receivables from payment providers is less. This I don't know why that would be. I don't know how many payment providers. Oh, I do know why that would be. Oh, you guys. This payment provider receivable situation, do you guys think that that has something to do with the current conflict that we don't speak about? Oh, it could be that too. Could be crypto. Tangible assets. So outside they bought more computer equipment. Guys, this is not much change. This intangible assets, I don't know how to evaluate that crap. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you know how much the value of video game stuff is? I'll go along with them. The increase in net sales though, let's look at this. This is what's fact. This is what matters. They went from 21,857. Oh, you know what? This is what really matters. If we wanted to look at it, the ratio of how much it was costing them to actually earn that, but let's not bother with that. We know that they're making a bunch of money. We know that they have increasing actual overall how much they were pulling in right now. The thing is, they increased their expenses out because they were like, oh, they even have increasing net profits anyway. Look at this. This is reasonable increasing net profits, you guys. If you were making like $23.70 an hour, and the next year you were making $36.02 an hour, you'd be freaking being like, nah, dude, I'm making better money this year. So that's a significant increase in net profits. I mean, I don't know for their industry, but in their dude's words up here, and I already went over this, In Homeboy's message from the CEO, the strongest finish that Minarch had during the last quarter of 2022 has continued into Q1 of 2023. And he basically breaks down that they have been growing. This is a growth of 21%. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that. First quarter of this year, a growth of 21%. Is that what we're reading? I just want to make sure I'm not misreading this. Revenues increased from 21.9 million SEK in the first quarter of 2022 to 26.5 million SEK in the first quarter of this year. So over a whole year, that's a whole year's growth. So everybody, they all agree that that's not like, hey, that's reasonable money. Okay, I think so too. So I don't know where we go with that. I'm gonna save these up here just in case we link them and stuff. And then I'm gonna pull this thingy. Whoa, I thought it was underwater almost in here for a second. Hold on. Trying to get this set up right where I can pull this thingy back down. Do you guys have any kind of weird questions about it? Do you guys feel you need to know some? Um, I'm gonna let you know where some of the questions have came from on this stuff. Oh, see, yeah, I'm waiting until they publish it. They haven't. So here, I'll show you that real quick. We'll go into that. So right here, Mindark hasn't published the next quarter report yet. Well, wait, do we have? We have May. Now, May would be the current. We could look at a year annual report, guys. That's actually doable. Annual reports are the one where they have to give their big old do. Just so you guys know. Before. There's their Q4. Here's the annual. Oh, we want the English version for an annual report. When there's an annual report, oh, guys, this is actually where we'll probably find out about that green company. Let's look into this. Annual reports are always going to have the better info. We don't care about that. Oh, look at this, guys. I'll link the annual report. Yeah, this looks like the focus
You're looking at
is.
your phone and go, oh, Saturday the 22nd? At no point I thought checking the date. I thought I
Wait,
already
what do you
scheduled
mean?
to
Who is
finish and fly
Titinia?
from immediately. But in my mind, I didn't question say,
Let me
okay, so
look
it's
down through
just
here.
sitting there playing with little words.
I don't know.
And I'm
I
like,
don't know, but they
what
own a ton
are
of the
you doing
company,
here?
you
I'm like,
guys.
I'm here to take care of Laura. He's like, no, that's what I'm doing here. And that's when he
That
finally told me, and I'm like,
the number one
and then
shareholder,
his
yeah.
friends and
So if you
everything,
guys
I'm like,
know them and want to have
oh,
them sponsor my channel,
it was kind of
I
embarrassing.
would love
Because
that.
I noticed, like,
I
I was
mean,
walking and I had
I
my
don't know what I just
situation on phone. I was
grabbed,
walking and
but
this
let's
girl
do
just
this and
came in,
find out.
like, staring.
Oh,
And then we just looked
the
at each other
investor
like, oh,
report
they
to
go,
give
oh,
you
hey,
guys. I
what's up? And
forgot.
they go,
I was
oh,
like,
last
oh,
week
okay.
or something like that. And I'm like, that's strange.
Boom. Got the investor report for you
And
guys.
then when I did check
Yeah, so
everything,
Titania owns 34%. What the crap?
that's funny.
Holy guys. Do you guys feel that that's like the who owns the game really? Look at this too. Close relative to founder. Wait, who is this? This is the founder's relative. Did you know there was a founder? Jan, oh, this, we're learning some stuff, you guys. Holy crap, settle in. This just got interesting. So, Jan, can I copy paste that? No. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna go clean the bowl and bring it back in.
I'm gonna look it up anyway.
What? Well, no, I just don't want them using.
So I'm gonna have to go back and forth on this. Jan, Karuna, Karu, like Tim Kruns, Tim Krantz. Well, I don't think that's the right Tim Krantz. Maybe I mistyped that. That turned weird right there. Tim Krantz. Sorry guys. And that's not a K either. That's gonna be an issue. All of a sudden we're getting all kinds of okay. You guys know about this? I didn't know who the founder was. I know. I was a little confused about that too. I'm like, I don't know about this. So Bloomberg. What are we looking about here? Crunchbase. Who's Crunchbase? Let's find out more. Going down some rabbit hole now. Okay, dude. Co-founder. So this dude. I don't know anything about this. I don't check this site up. I don't know what Crunchbase is about. It seems to just give us some random information on this guy. I mean, this isn't usable information. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we gonna do with that? Okay. Oh! Oh! They might have a character, you guys. They might have a freaking character. Oh no. That's a fake character. It pisses me off a little bit. Let's find out. Okay, Epic Battle long-term MindArc CEO and biggest shareholder, blah blah blah, probably has reclaimed his position.
Where's that
Okay,
fancy
so
dog?
there was some kind of fight.
Okay.
This is all boring.
I might use this for the alarm.
Okay, is anything
Because this
good?
charges.
Himself held
It's dead right now.
44.9% of the shares.
This phone. This
Okay.
fancy phone. Well, I'm gonna plug this in. I'm gonna use this
So,
phone.
you'll be glad to
Okay.
know
Make this phone.
the dude that has a whole bunch of shares of the company
I stopped listening
has used the whole.
to what he's saying. So okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll let you play. I'll leave you alone. Alright. I'm back. Here to do some more mining. More mining as I listen to. Jeez. I have to go back a little bit.
I mean, this isn't usable information.
Is he still on the same stuff? We kind of already gone over.
By the Strategic Innovation Program, Swedish Mining Innovation. So I'm not 1,000,000% sure I'm looking at the right thing. So let's not full attribute this, just in case I'm not looking at the right thing. If this is, come on, you know what? Let's not delve too far into random other things. You guys.
Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Captain Sean, and today I want you to get aboard my vessel as we set sail down the Atlantic to our nation's capital, which is, of course, Washington, D.C. And the reason we want to talk about Washington, D.C. is because the Democrats in that area, just a few months after they tried to roll back some criminal justice policies, have realized the error of their ways, and they're actually trying to put in emergency powers in order to deal with the uptick in crime that they experienced this year, and particularly the violence that kind of exploded over the 4th of July weekend. Now, on this channel, we talked about holiday weekends in these major urban centers multiple different times. That is not the subject of today's video. I have plenty on that, what is going on there, and all that jazz. What I want to talk about specifically is DC actually fighting back against it, and whether or not, and by the way, the answer is yes, definitely, there is a crime spike in Washington, D.C. by the numbers. But before we get into that, I want to thank everybody who signed up over on actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
And I want to thank my podcast listeners on Apple, Spotify, and Google's podcasting platform.
Today, DC leaders say they are just days away from passing new laws aimed at slowing down this violence by, one, identifying new crimes and also allowing judges to keep repeat offenders behind bars while they await trial. Delia Gonzalez is in Northeast tonight, and she talked to critics of this crime bill.
So when I first looked up this local news segment and they
works.
said that they wanted to talk to critics of the bill, I honestly was expecting the worst. I legitimately was expecting them to interview these woke left-wing activists who have no connection to reality, who are going to say, oh no, you definitely can't have any restrictions, crime's not a big deal, just look at the 1990s, crime is not as bad as the absolute worst time in American history, therefore we should ignore the modern uptick that we're seeing post the 2020 George Floyd riots. That being said, the criticisms from the activists that they actually talk about are so relevant, so good, that I just have to play this woman for you because I'm right there with her.
We are in a state of emergency right now.
According to DC police, a 33% increase in crime and 129 lives lost 7 months into the year. Now, crime bills introduced by Councilmember Brooke Pinto are poised to pass an emergency legislation. But critics say it only became an emergency when it impacted those west of the river.
This violence at first was just contained in 2 areas, Ward 8 and Ward 7. Now there's a trickle-down effect. You know, now it's spilling over in other wards. Then it becomes an issue. We've been dying for years.
So I've discussed this on this channel before, and by the way, you can look at the CompStat data for any major municipality, and for the most part, what you're going to find out is crime is often concentrated in certain areas. By the way, this is one of the reasons why we'll see disparities in tickets when the police are sent in to deal with higher rates of murder or assault or whatever in those specific areas. However, what this woman pointed out is that the crime has kind of spread, at least it did so after 4th of July, and this has caused other people who are not typically used to it to start pounding on the door of Mayor Bowser and thus pushing her to actually advocate for criminal justice legislation. And I know I just did a video on David Dole referring to lead, but there was one specific point in that video that I really want to highlight because it kind of underscores this attitude.
But how do you, like, why would somebody shoplift unless they need some shit? Like, that's, and look, I'm sure there are, you know, some things to do it for fun, of course, but just generally, people in desperate situations need to survive. When they're in those situations, they do more desperate things.
So right there, that is Dole showing a complete and utter disconnection from the motives or what would drive somebody to criminality. He can't imagine somebody stealing from a store unless they're in Aladdin-like distress at the beginning of the movie. And the thing is, this is so absurd to anybody who's, you know, grown up around criminal types like I have, or actually stolen things like I definitely didn't ever in my entire life. And I think in terms of policy, what you often have is the Dole types who have never actually experienced crime, don't understand the motivations, don't understand what makes somebody turn to criminality, making policy for people like this woman who live in the neighborhoods and are impacted by this. And when he's expressing overwhelming sympathy for the criminal, that is reflected in the policy, which negatively impacts her. Then when the crime spills out of the neighborhoods, like the one that this woman is saying that she lives in, into David Dole's type of neighborhood, all of a sudden, it's a crisis and we gotta pass legislation. Once they start robbing the frozen yogurt shop that charges $14 for granola on top of some crappy frozen yogurt, then our hipster trendy guy over here, that's when he's had enough. That's when it hits close enough to home for him to care about it. Now look, it would be one thing if the crime had just spilled out into this area, but it wasn't actually up across the District of Columbia. But to be clear, that is definitely not the case. When you dive into the DC Metro Police Department's crime data, what you find out is that crime is up in almost every category, and of course, the few categories that it's down happen to be those economic crime categories that supposedly are committed out of desperation, because it's almost as if not following the rules of society, violating the social trust, breaking the social contract the way that criminals do doesn't actually track around with Aladdin-like desperation. But we need to get into the problem so we can see how big it is in order to respond to it. So these are the year-to-date numbers that compare July 11th of 2022 to 2023 of that same date. And as you can see, homicides up 17% from 110 to 129 in 2023. Sexual abuse, 63 versus 84 in 2023, which is a 30% increase. Now, I will also point out that victimization surveys at the end of the year, these are just reporting data, will actually show way more sexual offenses than you'll see, because that's how that tends to work. Then we have assault with a dangerous weapon, which is up 5%. We also have robbery, again, year over year, up 52%. Violent crime overall is up 33%. Burglary is down 7%. Motor vehicle theft up 118%. This might have to do with that Kia glitch and that phenomenon. We have theft from auto, which is breaking into your vehicle, which is the same as last year. Theft overall up 25%. Arson, which is, small numbers, so no need to even talk about it. But overall property crime is up 29%, and all crime is also up 29%. Now, by the way, I'm going to link this whole crime source data in the description of this video, and I think it's important to understand that part of the reason why they were probably paring back some of the restrictions in the start of this year was that the 2022 crime numbers overall showed a 4% decrease from the 2021 numbers. Now, of course, we talk about this all the time on this channel, that 4% decrease was a decrease after a dramatic increase. So overall, since 2020, crime is significantly up in the District of Columbia.
Ward 8 Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Robbie Woodland.
It's a gumbo of dysfunction at this point, but I'm proud of the both of them, our mayor and Ms. Pinto, because these are things that we've been fighting for.
But regardless of that, whenever we have a sudden uptick in crime, whenever we have a spike, I like to look for some kind of change that might explain it. Now, based on my experience in the city of New York, I would look at bail reform as a potential culprit, but the thing is, the District of Columbia actually had a version of bail reform that dates all the way back to the 1990s. Now, it's not as broad and or as stupid as the bail reform that was instituted in New York State at the statewide level in order for Andrew Cuomo to secure his potential 2020 presidential run that never ended up materializing, but they did have that law already, and we saw crime decreases post the implementation of that law. However, that's not really the whole story. There's two key factors that I think explain what is going on in terms of Washington, D.C., and the first, of course, is at the prosecutorial level. Now, I don't think that they have one of these Alvin Bragg type district attorneys that gets funded through a bunch of different groups that ultimately end up receiving funding from George Soros, that get backed by Sean King and his Real Justice PAC. By the way, again, just look at the district attorneys on those websites. Go over to see if you have one and vote against them each and every year because they're disasters, but their district attorney is actually downgrading charges at an alarming rate. So one of the things that I find incredibly interesting is that the U.S. attorney that is in charge of the District of Columbia, and the reason they have this set up is because they're a federal territory. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the intricacies of Washington, D.C., but needless to say, it's an appointed position, does not prosecute cases at an alarming rate compared to the past history of the district. So, if you're arrested by the DC Metro Police and put up for charges, the chances that you will actually be prosecuted in DC Superior Court are about 1 in 3. 67% of the charges of the cases are not being prosecuted by the U.S. attorney that oversees that area. Now look, it's just a fact that some cases are not ready for prime time. Some cases are referred to a district attorney, and the district attorney is not able to pursue them. However, this is a giant increase from the 2015 numbers as reported by the Washington Post and as from the Substack DC Crime Facts, because it used to be in 2015 they would only not prosecute 35% of the cases. So they used to prosecute 2/3. Now they're prosecuting 1/3 of cases, and the reason why this is really interesting is because homicides are up in DC, and it turns out the average number of time somebody who commits a homicide was arrested before committing that homicide is about 11 times. So they're not prosecuting 2/3 of these cases. Potentially they could have put a huge portion of these soon-to-be murderers behind bars, because as we know, repeat and escalating offenders are a thing. However, they're not doing that at an alarming clip and this might explain some of the homicide increase, some of the crime increase that we're seeing in the district. Now, Matthew M. Graves, who is the Biden-appointed attorney for the district, said his office is continuing to prosecute the vast majority of violent felonies. He said prosecutors were declining less serious cases for a myriad of reasons, including that the city's crime lab remained unaccredited and police body camera footage was subjecting arrests to more scrutiny. Now, the chief of the MPD has essentially responded to this by saying that's BS. His department is not holding the bag on this one. The U.S. attorney appointed by Biden is the one making these poor decisions, and we should react accordingly to those poor decisions. And I'm tempted to agree with him, although I do think if you have an unaccredited forensic lab, you need to do something to fix that. This is the nation's capital. You can get that up to snuff. You also have the FBI nearby. I would assume that they have a crime lab that could be utilized for the District of Columbia, which seems like it would be a no-brainer kind of solution. But regardless, we need context to understand what a 67% declination rate is, because that is actually incredibly high when you think about other places in the country. For example, Wayne County, Michigan, which includes Detroit, the prosecutor's office only reported declining 33% of its cases last year. Now, this is the same number of cases that DC used to decline, and again, Wayne County, Detroit, not exactly Republican strongholds, and yet they have not declined or started to decline 2/3 of cases. Then we have Philadelphia. Prosecutors in Philadelphia only declined 4% of cases in the same time period, and in Cook County, which covers Chicago, it's only 14% of cases. Now, we need to put an asterisk on both Philadelphia and Cook County because I am well aware, and I've talked about this in the past, of some of the other tricks that Kimberly Fox and that Larry Krasner are both utilizing to decline cases without officially declining them. And this is the severe downgrading of charges. But needless to say, 67% of the time, cases being brought to DC Superior Court are just declined by the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is kind of obnoxious because this isn't even elected a position, it's an appointed position, so you would think that the same political pressures that impact these other district attorneys would not apply here. Now, Graves claims that the declinations come mostly after arrests in cases such as gun possession, drug possession, and misdemeanors, not in violent crimes. He said his office actually prosecuted 87.9% of the arrests made in homicides, armed carjackings, assaults with intent to kill, and first-degree sexual assault cases. Now, the Post believes that it's actually 85.7%, not 87.9%, but even that is down from 95.6% of those prosecuted cases in 2018. But more importantly than the numbers put forward, whether it's 85 or 87% now, is the details, because the devil is always in the details, especially when you're dealing with these slippery district attorneys, because one of the things that I notice, and you should really harp on in that quote, is the very limited cases that he said they're prosecuting at such a high rate, and what all of that leaves out. So first of all, illegal gun possession should be prosecuted. Chances are, if you have an illegal gun, you probably intend to use that in another crime. So the fact that that's off the board makes no sense. But what he said his office does prosecute are the arrests made in homicides. That's a no-brainer. In armed carjackings, which is very, very specific, meaning that they're not really prosecuting unarmed carjackings, assault with the intent to kill, again, leaving out regular assaults, regular batteries, very crucial information, and first-degree sexual assault cases, which of course, because he's emphasizing first-degree sexual assault, leads me to believe that they're not prosecuting other sexual assault cases. And by the way, I'm not speaking hypothetically or theoretically or metaphorically when it comes to these quotes. There's actually a lot of substance to back up what I just told you about the narrow classification of these categories. I was watching a Young Turks video of all places, and Anna Kasparian brought up an absolutely devastating point on how the District of Columbia is classifying crimes.
A lot of the misdemeanors shouldn't be misdemeanors. So now
they're violent crimes.
Because they're violent crimes.
Like strangulation.
Exactly.
Strangulation is a violent act. You're putting your hands on someone. You're putting your hands around someone's neck. Like look, that's what they did in California, right? So when there was a ballot initiative in order to, make some or push for reforms in regard to nonviolent crimes, I voted in favor of that. But then they decided to reclassify all sorts of violent crimes, including human trafficking, including strangulation and domestic violence, as nonviolent crimes.
Yeah, and it makes no sense.
Insane.
Think about what Anna just said there. The District of Columbia is classifying strangulations of all things as non-violent misdemeanors. Remember what this guy said about how they prosecute assault with intent to kill? Call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, but if somebody wraps their hands around your neck and they're trying to choke you to death, that would be an assault with an intent to kill, but it's not even counted as a felony, and it's not even counted as a violent misdemeanor. And by the way, the implication of this lax enforcement, the implication of this clear and obvious category error, is that if you're arrested for strangulation in the District of Columbia under the bail law system, because they made this change without changing the law, you will not be subject to being held. So if you wrap your hands around somebody's neck, you're not violent and you have not committed a felony in the District of Columbia, and you move from this 85.7% of violent felonies being prosecuted to the 2/3 of all cases that are probably not prosecuted at all. And remember what I said about homicides, 11 arrests on average before that person actually commits the homicide. You think an indicator that maybe you would kill somebody in the future is trying to strangle somebody in the present? You think that past behavior might predict a future outcome that you want to address? Well, DC doesn't, and they try to play around with the numbers in order to obfuscate the fact that obviously this is a terrible mistake. And by the way, it's not just that. For some reason in the District of Columbia, taking out a firearm and just firing it in the district is something that's not going to get prosecuted. It's not going to get charged seriously, and you won't even be held for that. And remember, the district attorney says they're not prosecuting gun possession. So if you have gun possession and then you're firing that weapon in the District of Columbia, you're not being charged for either of those. Do you think having an illegal gun and then firing that illegal gun in the District of Columbia would be something that potentially would indicate that you might shoot somebody in the future in the District of Columbia?
The series of crime bills would make discharging a gun a felony, gives judges the ability to detain people accused of violent crimes while they await trial, okays police pursuits to protect public safety,
and making sure that if somebody has an ankle monitor, for example, and is out on pretrial, that if they go out and commit another crime, that location information is admissible in court.
Now, the DC bill, which passed 12-1, thankfully, as of the time of me recording this video, it has not yet been signed, seeks to address some of the problems with the pretrial release, with the uptick in youth offenders, and with the misclassification of serious crimes that definitely should be prosecuted to the level of their seriousness. Now, Councilmember Brooke Pinto, who sponsored the changes, told the council that 30 of the suspects or victims of murders in DC last year were out of jail awaiting trial, which is one of the reasons why they want to expand the ability to hold these people pre-trial, because it's not just the killers that are being rearrested, but a lot of the victims end up getting murdered or something horrible happens to them based on the fact that you're not holding them, because when they're committing violent crimes, they're often in violent circles, so the chances of them being victimized are also incredibly high.
If you have a propensity to reoffend, I think judges should be able to have judgment, it's kind of in the name, and assess these people and hold them.
So you just want to give it to the judgment of the judges, and it doesn't...
Yes, I would like the judges to have judgment, yes.
Now, in the last fiscal year of DC, almost 2,000 adults were charged with a felony. Of them, 701 were released prior to trial, and 374 more were released at some point later. The agency in charge of this couldn't actually say how many of those released were accused of violent crimes, but it did claim that almost none of them were charged with new crimes before their trial. Now, I find this proposition from this agency incredibly dubious, that they somehow don't know how many of these people were charged with violent felonies versus how many of them are actually being rearrested awaiting trial, especially what we know about homicides and about repeat offenders in the District of Columbia. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, But again, this law in particular seeks to address that by reclassifying some of the crimes that were outside that category that the U.S. Attorney is referring to into their proper category. And among those crimes that they're trying to increase the punishments for are firing a gun in public, as we mentioned, strangulation, and carjacking. Again, all of these things are either up or they're completely misclassified as nonviolent crimes, so they're in the category of not being prosecuted. Now, there's a great quote from Council Member Chair Phil Mendelson, who said, quote, "You can get away with murder in this city in response to the dramatic increases in crime," which is hilarious because when he was advocating for reducing penalties in just March of this year, he suggested that the perception of high crime was just overshadowing the reality on the ground. Now, there's one other thing that they actually address in this, which is the fact that DC instituted one of these ridiculous and absurd no pursuit policies. Now, obviously, if it's a matter of policy that you're not going to pursue criminals that are on the run, you're going to get more criminals on the run. I understand that they thought at the time that maybe it was less dangerous to pursue them because they could get into an accident or whatever, but the thing is, the sheer volume of people more that run that would not have ran before, clearly and obviously in my mind, would offset the danger of any individual pursuit. Now, a lot of the stuff in the DC bill is just no-brainer kind of things, but there are other things that you might not think about that I actually think are also good policy, because we have a lot of these diversion programs that are in vogue as of late that seek to not prosecute specifically for youthful offenders, divert them to some kind of counseling or whatever. But one of the problems that we often find with rehabilitation data or rehabilitation program data is the fact that it actually doesn't exist. These programs sound good, they get some news attention, they get federal funding based on that news attention, but nobody ever really follows up to see if they work. Well, one of the things that this allocates funding for is to actually determine whether or not these rehabilitation programs, these diversion programs, are actually doing anything positive. This is absolutely crucial information because while I think just going soft on youthful offenders is not good policy, I am in favor of trying different interventions in order to divert these people without necessarily putting them behind bars. But the thing is, I'm all about data-driven policing, data-driven law enforcement, so if you have a program that sounds pretty good on its surface, but nobody's looking into whether or not it works, and we find out it's completely backfiring, then you're not really doing anything productive. You're just wasting money on a program to make you feel better as crime rates are going up. Now, while this bill is going in the right direction, it seems to be addressing the actual problems, the actual changes that made the District of Columbia worse. There is one major problem that they are not addressing in this bill, and it does not seem like it's any closer to being solved, despite the fact that they are spending more money on it, and that, of course, is the declining law enforcement population. They just lost too many law enforcement officers post the George Floyd Black Lives Matter riots, and they have not been good at replacing them. Before the riots, we had about 3,800 officers in the Metro Police Department for the District of Columbia. That is down, depending on which numbers you look at, to around 3,300 or 3,200, a loss of around 450 officers, well over 10% of the force. If you lose over 10% of your police force, the chances of you actually catching these criminals or deterring these criminals is just not going to be as high. And as we've seen in Los Angeles, and of course we see it in the District of Columbia, in order to replace the recruitment shortfalls, what they're trying to do is get these guys to work more overtime. And in reality, when you're working overtime, you get diminishing returns. You're less productive. So the chances of a police encounter going bad with elevated crime, more stressed and more tired officers go up exponentially. So we're one little incident away from this all being rolled back due to a police officer making a critical error or even doing something improper based on the circumstances that have been put forward based on the fact that they have an officer shortage. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. the officers that are retiring are often the most seasoned investigators, your skilled positions, people that you can't replace so easily. So the fact that they're retiring disproportionately at once means even if you were supplementing with new recruits, they just won't have the talent level that was previously there. However, even with them offering $25,000 bonuses, raising the salary, doubling for 1 year the budget they're spending on recruitment, they're still hitting about a third of their target that they're looking for each and every recruiting class, which again means that they're losing far more officers than they're actually replacing them with. So even if they did a one-to-one replacement, we would have rookie, less talented officers replacing those that are veterans and very talented that are leaving, but they're not even managing that. Now, they say they want to get to a certain number of officers. I believe it's 4,000 by the decade's end as a recruiting goal, but the thing is, I can't actually tell you right now whether or not that's the appropriate amount of officers. When we talked about the city of New Orleans, we actually had a data set that said that they dropped from 1,200 officers to 900 officers, and they need a minimum of 1,100 officers in order to effectively deter crime. I have not found the equivalent data for what is estimated by the experts to be needed by the District of Columbia, but needless to say, based on the increase in crime from 2020 and based on all these other factors, it's probably higher than where they were. And considering crime was significantly lower when they were closer to 3,800, I don't think 4,000 officers is outside the realm of possibility for what they might need in order to control crime.
But Woodland says the real flaw in the crime bill, not fixing the system to monitor repeat offenders, including making sure those ankle monitors have batteries.
Oh, it's greatly contributing to our crime problem. The majority of the kids that's committing crimes right now have already been CFSA involved. They are already committed through CSOSA, and the majority of them already have ankle monitors, and none of them are working.
Now look, while I am optimistic about this bill, I'm optimistic about the shifting in attitude, the fact of the matter is that bill not addressing the ankle monitor situation when they put these young people through these diversionary programs, and a bunch of these don't even have batteries, they're not using the GPS data to track them, they're not using it to even convict them or charge them with other crimes when they violate the conditions of their probation or parole, doesn't seem like it's a good fix. But it's a step in the right direction, and we have to give credit to people for moving closer towards our position. And it seems like these Democrats, these are the same people who painted Black Lives Matter in big bold letters on the streets of DC, are moving in that direction. They're responding to political pressure, and hopefully they turn this around. I don't want to go back to the 1990s. I fear we're on that trajectory, and a lot of places in this country, including Philadelphia, recently I heard Kansas City, Minneapolis, are already at 1990s levels, peak homicide levels, which to me is a disgusting repudiation of what we know works historically, and a complete and utter failure of the system that we're currently under. But make no mistake about it, DC is trying to make some kind of change in order to fight back against it. But the basics, like monitoring the people that you have ankle monitors on, need to also be included.
The mayor and police chief saying the crime bill will slow down our surge in violent crime, pushing back on reports that the council chairman said, quote, "You can get away with murder in D.C. because police are not solving enough homicides."
You can't get away with murder here. We will catch you.
In 2022, only 35% of homicides were closed via arrest that same year.
Now look, those are my thoughts on this issue. Those are my thoughts on this subject matter. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment thing, and I promise I will read every single one of them, at least to the point where I get sick of reading them and I want to throw up. If you like this video, then show me by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on all my social medias. Support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about DC pushing back against crime, finally. Till next time.
Jack. Hey, Captain Jack. Meet me down by the railroad track. Meet me down. Your daddy was home when you left. Your mama was home when you left. Your sister was home when you left. Your brother was home when you left. The dog was home when you left. The cat was home when you left. The fish was home when you left. Your daddy, your mama, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. And that's the reason you left. I left my home. I left my home to join the army. Join the army. I left my home. I left my home to join the army. Join the army. The day I left. The day I left. My mama cried. My mama cried. She thought that I would surely die. Would surely die. I left my wife. I left my wife standing at the door. Standing at the door. She knew that I would die at war. Would die at war. I left.
Hey, what's up, man? You can sweat them yourself. IDT? I'm not really. Yeah, I'm kiting it. Yeah. Oh, I don't think. Oh, okay. Yeah, I found a slow one. Yeah, fortunately it's working, which is nice. Nice change of pace. I think I can actually go in reverse too. They're like super slow. Oh no, I think he's catching up. Actually, no, I don't think he is catching up. Oh no, he is catching up. Okay, never mind. Should be able to find some fruit like this too. Okay, well that'd be kind of nice. Fruit walking and sweating at the same time. Let's go. Oh yeah, I also accepted that quest too. The Zen Psych Master quest. But it wants me to collect like 5,000. And this is just stage 1 too. I was looking at the other stages on the website. Oh my god, man. It's not fucking. There we go. After such a horrifically long dry spell, I'm finally getting some connections here. For the skill turn-ins you unlock? Really? Okay, okay. It's worth it to at least finish the first 2 stages, but you don't have to be in a hurry to complete it. Well, I've got time. I've got time. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't expect to actually, let's try you. Oh, God. Hold on. This is a healthy person. So... God. What the hell? 13 peck. That's not worth it. Fuck. I might just use the turret. After you do the second stage, it unlocks the jelly worm that you can summon and get rewarded. And get rewarded with skills when you kill it. You can just summon one? Is it like a high level one, or is it... It must be a high level. I'm assuming it's a high level. I doubt they'd let you just summon an easy one you can farm. I was trying to find an old cadence that I really liked, but the guy with the guy is clearly army. All of his cadences are army, so I don't think I'm gonna find my branches, like all of my branches cadences. Fuck. I just don't remember all the lyrics anymore. It's been so long. Oh shoot. Ugh. Oh, I wasn't even aiming at that time. I'm spacing out. Oh, they cut me off. They don't like what I'm doing. That's fine, I'll just stay on the hill. Oh. Re-up, you crazy. Re-up, you crazy. Oh, Captain Jack. Oh, fuck. No! I didn't actually expect a successful connection. Oh, I've actually got a quick question, mate. Have you been to Rocktropia? So, cause from some of the videos I've seen, from what I understand, Rocktropia just kind of. Oh, fuck! I looked away again. Of course. But from what I understand, Rocktropia spawns oil just randomly along the planet. Have you like been there and tried to like collect it, or? It's too quiet.
I saw the Taliban dressed in black. I saw the Taliban dressed in black. That's my tool in his back. That's my tool in his back. I was the one he did not see. I was the one he did not see. U.S. Army infantry. U.S. Army infantry. Whoa, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah. I saw the Taliban dressed in red. I saw the Taliban dressed in red. That's my bullet in his head. That's my bullet in his head. I saw the Taliban dressed in brown. I saw the Taliban dressed in brown. It's me who shot him to the ground. It's me who shot him to the ground. I was the one he did not hear. I was the one he did not hear. U.S. Army engineer. U.S. Army engineer. Whoa, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah. I saw the Taliban dressed in white. Now he's got me inside. He was the one I did not see. U.S. Army infantry. Whoa, 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 whoa. On a bright and sunny day, on a bright and sunny day, two little bears came out to play. Two little bears came out to play. Gathered up all their money. Gathered up all their money. Bought themselves a jar of honey. Bought themselves a jar of honey. But the fat one ate it all. But the fat one ate it all. Pushed the little one, watched him fall. Pushed the little one, watched him fall. Now the fat one's on the run. Now the fat one's on the run. Cause the little one, cause the little one, cause the little one's got a gun. Cause the little one, cause the little one, cause the little one's got a gun. Yogi Bear is dead. Yogi Bear is dead. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Yogi Bear is dead. Yogi Bear is dead. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Ranger Rick stood on a hill. Ranger Rick stood on a hill. Ranger Rick, he saw the kill. Ranger Rick, he saw the kill. Now the Ranger's on the run. Now the Ranger's on the
Hey there, Army! Hey there, Army! Get in your tanks and follow me! Get in your tanks and follow me! I am the Marine Corps Infantry! I am the Marine Corps Infantry! Hey there, Navy! Hey there, Navy! Get in your ships and follow me! Get in your ships and follow me! I am the Marine Corps Infantry. I am the Marine Corps Infantry. Hey there, Air Force. Hey there, Air Force. Get in your planes and follow me. Get in your planes and follow me. I am the Marine Corps Infantry. I am the Marine Corps Infantry. Hey there, civilians. Hey there, civilians. Get off your butts and follow me! Get off your butts and follow me! I am the Marine Corps Infantry! I am the Marine Corps Infantry!
Strip. C-130 rolling down the strip. We on an airborne ranger, take a little trip. We're on an airborne ranger, gonna take a little trip. We're gonna stand up, a hook up, shuffle to the door. Stand up, a hook up, shuffle to the door. We're gonna jump right out and count to four. We're gonna jump right out and count to four. My main don't open, I use my reserve. My main don't open, I use my reserve. My reserve don't open, I lose my nerve. My reserve don't open, I lose my nerve. Cause I'm airborne. Airborne. All right. All right. I can rock. I can rock. All right. so good.
3 miles,
3 miles,
gonna rock,
to
to the side,
4
4
miles,
gotta make,
in the
in the shade,
5
5 miles, gotta run, 5 miles, gonna be 6 miles, motivated, dedicated, 7 miles, gotta run, 8 miles, fired up, 9 miles, feeling good, 10 miles, looking good, everybody, looking good, gonna rock, Hollywood, looking good, gonna jump, from the moon, PT, so good, I can do it, I can run, all day, all night, lean and mean, fit to fight, driving on, airborne, driving on, motivated, driving on, sound off, everybody, gonna rock, to the song, hey ma, look at me, your son, number one, hey pop, look at me, your boy, I'm the top, airborne, all the way, airborne, lead the way, ranger, every day, PT, gotta rock, to the side, wanna jump, from the moon, Hollywood, I'm gonna be, Hollywood, I gotta be, airborne, I wanna be, silver wings, on my chest, number one, fly the test, I can run, I can run to Haiti, like this, I can run to Haiti, like this, all the way to Haiti, like this, all the way to Haiti, like this, and when I get to Haiti, the Haitians gonna say, when I get to Haiti, the Haitians gonna say, how'd you get to Haiti in just one day? How'd you get to Haiti in just one day? And I reply with a whole lot of anger. I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Oh yeah, motivated, dedicated. I can run to Bosnia like this. I can run to Bosnia like this, all the way to Bosnia, like this, all the way to Bosnia, like this. And when I get to Bosnia, the Serbs are gonna say, and when I get to Bosnia, the Serbs are gonna say, how'd you get to Bosnia in just one day? How'd you get to Bosnia in just one day? And I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Motivated, dedicated. Oh yeah, that's me. That's you. I can run to Somalia like this. I can run to Somalia like this. All the way to Somalia like this. All the way to Somalia like this. When I get to Somalia, they're gonna say. When I get to Somalia, they're gonna say. How'd you get to Somalia in just one day? How'd you get to Somalia in just one day? And I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Oh yeah, PT, every day, every way. Oh yeah, I should run to Iraq like this. I can run to Iraq like this. All the way to Baghdad like this. All the way to Baghdad like this. And when I get to Iraq, Saddam's gonna say. When I get to Iraq, Saddam's gonna say. How'd you get to Iraq in just one day? How'd you get to Iraq in just one day? And I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. I'll reply with a whole lot of anger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Blood and guts and a little bit of danger. Oh yeah, that's for me. That's for me. PT, every day. PT, every day. Haiti, every day. Build your body the Marine Corps way. Build your body the Marine Corps way. Wait a second. Are you? You're not still on the. In the chat, are you? Oh man, I wonder if I disconnected. Hold on, I gotta look. Let me close. Oh fuck. Close YouTube, please. Close it. And reopen it. I kind of just stopped getting responses, so I assumed you left. But I wonder if I just disconnected. So let me see real quick. No, okay. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I'll get too close again. Has found a rare abomination blood vial to pet. What time is it? 4:42. Okay. See, like rapid fire. She's rapid fire. Just another day. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Oh, you'll be back online in a few hours. If you're still on. Okay. Well, I might be still on. I haven't quite decided how long I'm going to do this for. No, I don't. No, I haven't seen any. No. It never shows up, man. It never shows up. I never find any doing this. Oh, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't do it. Oh, I got too far away. Crap, I looked away for like 2 seconds, man. Looked away for 2 seconds. That's all it took. Nice experience. Let's go. Man, I'm tired. I think I'm just gonna kill this guy. I might call it, actually. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I'm tired. I'll play tomorrow. Oh. Yeah, I'll play tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday, so I should get... Oh yeah, the payouts happen tomorrow. That'll be fun.